Chronological Bible.
In Capernaum with Nain, transition time, New Testament. Since the 2nd century AD, Christian theologians have discussed the relationships of John's second sign, John chapter 4 verse 54. The first of the 7 signs at John chapter 2 verse 1, to the healing stories in Matthew chapter 8 verse 5 through 13, in Luke chapter 7 verse 1 through 10. The similarities of the stories have suggested to some that the same healing is described in these 3 accounts. In addition, the Greek word which Matthew uses for servant can designate either a servant or a son. It uses the casual Greek word for son. All agree that at least Matthew and Luke are recounting a single incident. Matthew contrasts the faith of the Gentile centurion with that of many of Jesus' fellow Jews. Possibly Jesus and the centurion speak directly with each other in Matthew's account to highlight this contrast. Now Luke's account indicates that the centurion sent Jewish intermediaries, and Luke also describes that the boy is ready to die, and follows his healing with the report of Jesus raising the dead son of a widow residing in Nain. Thus Luke prepares for Jesus' response to John the Baptist, the dead are raised. Okay. Now Matthew chapter 8 verse 5. Now when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, pleading with him, saying, Lord, my servant is lying at home, paralyzed, dreadfully and tormented. And Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to the other, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said to those who followed, Assuredly I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And I say to you that many will come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdoms will be cast out into utter darkness. There will be weeping. And then Jesus said to the centurion, Go your way, and as you have believed, be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. Luke chapter 7 verse 1. Now when he concluded his sayings in the hearings of the people, he entered Capernaum. And a certain centurion servant who was him was sick and ready to die. So when he heard about Jesus, he sent elders of the Jews to him, pleading with him to come and heal his servant. And when they came to Jesus, earnestly saying that the one for whom he should do this was deserving, for he loves our nation and has built us a synagogue. Then Jesus went with them, and when he was ready, not far from the house, the centurion sent him, saying to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. Therefore I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. But says the word of my servant will be healed, for I also am a man placed under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and to another, he comes, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turned around and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And those who were sent returning to the house found the servant well, who had been sick. Now it happened the day after that he went into the city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, a large crowd. And when he came near the gate of the city, behold, a dead man was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a large crowd from the city was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and said to her, Do not weep. And then he came and he touched the open coffin, and those who carried him stood still. And he said, Young man, I say to you, arise. And so he was dead and sat up and began to speak, and he presented him to his mother. And then fear came upon all, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has risen up among us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him went throughout all the Judea and all the surrounding regions. John chapter 4 verse 46. So Jesus came again to Cana of Galilee, where he had made the water wine. And there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. And when he heard that Jesus had come out of Judea into Galilee, he went to him and implored him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. And then Jesus said to him, "Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will by no means believe." The nobleman said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go your way, your son lives." So the man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him, and he went his way. And as he was now going down, he met him and told him, saying, "Your son lives." And then he inquired of them the hour when he got better. And they said to him, "Yesterday, at the 7th hour, the fever left him." And so the father knew that it was at the same hour in which Jesus said to him, "Your son lives." And he himself believed in his whole household. This again is the second sign Jesus did when he had come out of Judea into Galilee.